Hey, this is Anthony Cesari with SuccessForYourSongs.com. In this video, we're going to be talking about the importance of writing melodies before chords. And that's not to say that you can't do it the other way around, but in an interview I had with Kevin Thomas of Songwriting Planet, he gives a lot of good reasons for writing melodies before your chords. So you can check that out here. Do you recommend starting with the chords because of what we just talked about, or could you start with the melody and still work it backwards to get chords from there? What do you feel is more effective, or is that just one of those things that just do whatever comes easier to you?
I suggest trying it. Don't get stuck in one method of doing it. You can
Right.
do it either way. A lot of people will strum guitar chords, and if all those chords come from the same key, when they just start singing, they're naturally going to sing notes from the scale that those chords come from and just come up with a melody that way. So intuitively or by ear, you can make those melody notes fit the chords. Just because if I played two or three chords from the same key, at that point I've pretty much played all the scale tones from that key within the chords. And when I start singing, I'm naturally going to sing from that scale. And so you could just use your ear to hear where you want notes to resolve and where you don't. But if you start with just a melody and then add chords to it, that's a good way to really focus on a great melody. How do you create a really good melody first, make sure it's sounding good, and then add chords to it as a second step? And this is the way songwriters, from back in the 30s and 40s, a lot of them wrote their music this way. The music was really dependent on a great melody. These days we have a lot more heavy drums and electric guitars and bass in the music that we listen to today, whereas back then often it was orchestra music or small ensembles where the melody really, really had to stand out. And so they would write the melody first and then harmonize it with chords as a second step. You kind of have to, piano is great for this. If you can play your melody on the piano and then place chords to it, any one particular note that you're landing on, for a basic triad chord that has a root, a third, and a fifth, you've got three choices. You could harmonize that melody note with the root of the chord, you could harmonize it with the third of the chord, or harmonize it with the fifth of the chord, and each will give you a different color.
Yeah, I think that's a great technique to try out if you're used to just starting with the chords and putting a melody on top of it. Doing what you said, just finding the note that you have in your melody. If you come up with the melody first and then trying the root, third, fifth as a chord underneath it, can be an interesting way to come up with chords after you have a melody that you really like.
Right, and doing it that way really does help you understand the chord melody relationships and how to develop it that way a lot better, as opposed to just singing on top of a chord progression, which works also, but it doesn't make you think quite as much and really understand what's going on.
All right, so I hope you got a lot out of that information. If you're looking for a lot more information on writing better songs, I've got a free ebook for you right below this video, so click there to check it out, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks for listening.